As you close your eyes tonight, imagine drifting into a sea of golden light, each wave carrying treasures prepared just for you. In this sacred hour, we will awaken the wealth frequency that resides within you, dissolving all thoughts of lack and replacing them with the certainty of divine abundance. While you sleep, the universe works in your favor, aligning unseen forces to deliver the prosperity that is already yours. The divine supply is infinite. The divine supply is like an endless ocean, vast, unfathomable, and ever-flowing. It has no boundaries, no limitations, and no possibility of depletion. Just as the waves never cease to rise and fall, so the flow of divine provision never stops moving toward those who are open to receive. This is not a storehouse that can be emptied, nor a treasure chest that can be stolen. It is the eternal substance of life itself, forever abundant, forever available, forever full. When you align your thoughts with this truth, you realize there is no such thing as lack in the divine mind. Lack is but a shadow, an illusion created by fear, doubt, and separation from the source. The supply was complete before you ever had a need. The answer existed before the question was formed. Just as the sun shines whether the clouds are present or not, the divine supply flows regardless of outer appearances. Your work is simply to remove the clouds of unbelief so that the radiant abundance can pour through. Consider the air you breathe. You do not fear it will run out. You take it in freely, knowing that there is enough for all, and that the more you breathe, the more is available. The same is true of divine wealth and provision. You cannot diminish the infinite by receiving from it. In fact, the more you receive with gratitude, the more channels are opened for greater supply to reach you. The source delights in pouring forth blessings, for giving is its very nature. In the kingdom of the infinite, there is no competition. No one can take what belongs to you, and you cannot take what belongs to another. The supply is not a limited pie to be divided, but an overflowing fountain that renews itself in every moment. The idea of shortage belongs only to the realm of human misunderstanding. The truth is that the more people awaken to abundance, the richer the whole world becomes. One candle can light 1,000 without losing its flame. One person living in abundance consciousness can ignite prosperity in countless others. When you understand that the divine supply is infinite, you stop chasing and start allowing. You no longer struggle to grasp, to hoard, or to control. Instead, you open the doors of your mind and heart, letting the current of life carry you to greater expressions of good. The river does not force itself forward. It flows naturally to its destination. In the same way, divine wealth comes with ease when you release the strain and rest in the assurance that all is provided. Every seed in nature contains within it the promise of multiplied increase. A single apple holds enough seeds to plant an orchard, and every orchard holds enough fruit to feed a multitude. This is the way of the infinite, to multiply, expand, and overflow. The laws of spirit are generous beyond measure. Your part is to plant the seeds of faith, water them with affirmations of truth, and trust the divine gardener to bring forth the harvest. To live in this consciousness, you must train your inner vision to see beyond appearances. Outer conditions may whisper of limitation, but the inner truth speaks of endless provision. You may look at your bank account and see a small number, yet the invisible supply surrounding you is without number. The truth is not measured by what is seen, but by what is known in the depths of the soul. Faith becomes the bridge between the unseen and the seen, the infinite and the manifest. Every act of trust sends a signal to the infinite that you are ready to receive more. Every word of gratitude sends out a magnetic current, drawing wealth from the unseen storehouse into visible form. The more you recognize the supply, the more it reveals itself in your life. The infinite cannot withhold, it can only give. The question is never whether the supply exists, it is whether you are open to receive it. When you declare with conviction that the divine supply is infinite, you align yourself with a law that cannot fail. You open the floodgates for resources, opportunities, and blessings to stream into your life from unexpected channels. You stop looking to a single source, a job, a person, a business, and instead look to the infinite, knowing it has countless ways to deliver what you need. This shift in consciousness frees you from fear and places you in the flow of unending abundance. Abundance is your birthright. From the moment you drew your first breath, you were wrapped in the generosity of the universe. The sun rose to warm you without asking for payment. The air filled your lungs without condition. The earth supported your every step without hesitation. This is the silent testimony written into the fabric of creation, that you are meant to live in plenty, not in lack. Abundance is not a privilege reserved for the few. It is the inheritance of all who recognize their place in the divine order. You were not placed upon this earth to scrape, struggle, or beg for your daily bread. You were born into a world overflowing with resources, beauty, and opportunity. The rivers do not question whether they will have enough water to flow. The trees do not wonder if they will bear fruit again next season. Creation moves in certainty, knowing the law of supply is as unshakable as the law of gravity. The same law is written upon your life, and it declares that there is more than enough for you at all times. To claim abundance as your birthright is to stand in the truth of who you are, a child of the infinite, made in the image of the Creator, and therefore heir to all that the Creator has. A royal child does not plead for their inheritance. They accept it with dignity, knowing it is theirs by divine decree. You too have this rightful claim, for abundance is not something you earn through toil alone. It is something you awaken to by realizing who you are in the great design. Every soul carries within it the blueprint for a life of wholeness, joy, and prosperity. This blueprint cannot be erased. It can only be ignored or forgotten. The voices of doubt, fear, and limitation may try to convince you otherwise, but they speak against the truth. The moment you remember your rightful place in the universal scheme, you begin to call back to yourself all that has been waiting for your recognition. The abundance you seek has been seeking you from the beginning. It is easy to believe that others are more favored, that life gives some a greater share and leaves others wanting. Yet the sun does not choose where to shine. It pours its light over all. The ocean does not ration its waves. They come without ceasing to every shore. Abundance is impartial, for it flows according to law, not preference. The only question is whether your mind and heart are open enough to let it in. To live in this awareness, you must shed the inherited beliefs of lack. These beliefs may have been passed down through family, culture, or past experience, but they do not belong to your true self. You are not defined by what has been denied to you in the past. You are defined by the divine substance from which you are made. When you release the old stories of scarcity, you make room for the reality of your birthright to take form. Imagine the life you would live if you truly believed abundance was yours by nature. You would walk with confidence, make decisions from faith rather than fear, and give generously without the dread of running out. You would see opportunities where others see obstacles. You would trust that each closed door hides an open one just beyond view. This is not a fantasy. It is the natural outcome of aligning your inner knowing with the truth that abundance is woven into your being. The earth is rich with every form of wealth. Gold hidden in the mountains, harvests waiting in the fields, ideas resting in the minds of those ready to bring them forth. These riches are not guarded from you. They are prepared for you. Your birthright is not merely to survive, but to thrive, to experience the fullness of life in all its dimensions: health, joy, love, creativity, and material provision. The claim of abundance is not arrogance. It is humility before the truth of the universe. To deny your birthright is to deny the generosity of the source that gave you life. When you accept it, you step into harmony with the divine plan, and life responds in kind, arranging people, circumstances, and events to reflect the truth you have embraced. Wealth is a state of consciousness. Wealth begins not in the bank, but in the mind. It is first a vibration, a way of thinking, a silent conviction that you live in a universe of unlimited supply. Every coin, every opportunity, every blessing that arrives in the outer world is the reflection of an inner pattern, a pattern shaped by your thoughts, beliefs, and expectations. The outer is only the mirror of the inner. To change the reflection, you must change the image you hold within. When the mind is trained to see abundance, the world will reveal abundance. When the mind is trained to see scarcity, the world will reveal scarcity. Both conditions are available, but the one you experience will always match the state of your consciousness. Just as a radio tunes to a specific frequency to receive a clear signal, your mind tunes to the frequency of wealth or lack. The choice is yours in every moment. True wealth consciousness is not dependent on circumstances. It is not the result of having a certain sum of money or owning certain possessions. It is a deep knowing that you are connected to an unfailing source that can never run dry. A wealthy mind sees possibilities where others see closed doors. It recognizes opportunities hidden in plain sight. It remains calm in the face of temporary appearances of lack, knowing these are but passing clouds across an ever-present sun. Those who live in wealth consciousness carry a quiet certainty with them. They do not speak words of want or poverty. They do not fear tomorrow. Their language is rich with faith, gratitude, and expectation of good. They give freely, not from recklessness, but from an understanding that giving creates new channels for receiving. They understand that the law of circulation governs wealth. What flows out returns multiplied, for the infinite cannot be diminished. Wealth consciousness is cultivated by the thoughts you entertain and the feelings you nurture. Every thought of gratitude expands your inner capacity to receive. Every vision of yourself living in freedom, joy, and prosperity sends a signal to the unseen realm, calling forth its visible counterpart. Every time you refuse to dwell on fear or lack, you polish the lens of your perception, allowing you to see and seize the riches that surround you. You cannot live in wealth consciousness while clinging to poverty thinking. These two states cannot occupy the same space. Poverty thinking says, "There is not enough. I must hold on tightly to what I have." Wealth consciousness says, "There is more than enough, and what I need will always be provided." Poverty thinking doubts, questions, and fears. Wealth consciousness trusts, expects, and rejoices. The difference is not in external possessions, but in the inner atmosphere of the soul. Every person carries an invisible account, the sum total of their beliefs, emotions, and attitudes toward money, supply, and opportunity. This account is what determines what flows into their life. Someone with a small consciousness of wealth may receive briefly, but will soon lose it, for they have not yet built the inner capacity to hold it. Someone with a rich consciousness will attract more wealth than they need, because their mind is an open channel for the flow of divine supply. The way to build wealth consciousness is to begin now, where you are, with what you have. Treat every possession as precious. Give thanks for every coin, every act of kindness, every moment of joy. Refuse to speak of lack, even in jest. Fill your mind with words, images, and affirmations that affirm abundance as your reality. Spend time imagining yourself living in the fullness of your desires, not as a far-off dream, but as a present truth. As this state of consciousness takes root, it will begin to transform your experience without strain or force. People, opportunities, and resources will seem to appear at the right moment, drawn to the vibration you carry. You will act with inspired confidence, for your inner world will have shifted from fear to faith, from worry to assurance. Wealth will become not something you pursue, but something you naturally live from, because you will have understood its true origin and nature. Faith opens the floodgates. Faith is the invisible bridge between your desire and its fulfillment. It is the unshakable knowing that what you seek is already provided even before your eyes behold it. Faith is not hope alone, for hope may still carry uncertainty. Faith stands as the solid ground beneath your feet, even when the outer world offers no sign of support. It is the key that unlocks the invisible storehouse of abundance, allowing the blessings of the infinite to pour into your life without resistance. The floodgates of divine supply are always ready to open, but they respond only to the turning of the key, and that key is faith. Without faith, the gates remain closed, not because the supply is withheld, but because doubt builds walls that keep it from flowing in. Faith dissolves those walls, clears the channels, and allows the current of good to rush in freely, swiftly, and abundantly. Faith is an inner agreement with the truth that the universe is on your side. It refuses to be swayed by appearances, by delay, or by the noise of fear. When the surface of life seems still, faith knows the deeper waters are moving. When the soil appears bare, faith knows the seed is already germinating beneath the surface. When there is no sign of the harvest, faith sees the fields already ripe and ready to be gathered. To live in faith is to speak as though the answer has already come. It is to give thanks before the blessing has appeared, knowing that the act of gratitude is a declaration of certainty. Faith does not bargain with the divine or set conditions. It simply knows, and in knowing, it rests. This rest is not inactivity, but a steady inner confidence that guides your actions with precision and peace. Faith is the opposite of fear. Where fear closes, faith opens. Where fear binds, faith releases. Where fear sees obstacles, faith sees the path. Fear is a dam that blocks the river of supply. Faith is the force that breaks the dam wide open, allowing the living waters to rush forward. This is why, when faith is present, doors seem to open of their own accord and events align in ways beyond your planning. Even a small seed of faith carries the power to shift an entire life. Just as a tiny key can unlock a massive gate, a single unwavering thought of faith can open the way to abundance beyond measure. You do not need to see the entire road ahead to begin walking in faith. You only need to take the first step with the assurance that the next step will be revealed. Each step strengthens the current until the flood of blessings becomes unstoppable. Faith grows through daily practice. Every time you choose to believe instead of doubt, you are watering the roots of faith. Every time you speak words of certainty instead of fear, you are strengthening its branches. Every time you act as though your good is already here, you are pulling the invisible into the visible. Faith is not a passive state. It is an active alignment with the reality of divine abundance. When you choose faith, you give permission for the infinite to work without limitation in your life. The channels through which blessings can arrive become countless. Unexpected opportunities, sudden insights, new connections, and surprising provisions all begin to flow toward you. The timing becomes perfect, the sequence unfolds in harmony, and what once seemed impossible begins to feel inevitable. Faith transforms the invisible into the tangible. It is the builder of bridges between the seen and the unseen, the force that calls what is not yet visible into form. The floodgates of the universe are waiting, heavy with the weight of blessings prepared just for you, ready to pour forth in unstoppable streams the moment faith swings them open. Words are seeds of wealth. Every word you speak carries within it the power of creation. Words are not empty sounds. They are living seeds planted into the fertile soil of the mind and the universe. Just as a seed contains the blueprint for the tree it will become, every word contains the pattern for the reality it will produce. Speak in lack, and you plant lack. Speak in abundance, and you plant abundance. The harvest you gather will always match the seeds you sow. The law of life is precise. What you plant in thought and speech will return to you multiplied. Words are currents of energy that shape the unseen substance into visible form. They move ahead of you, preparing your path, attracting or repelling the very conditions you will meet. When you speak of wealth, health, and success with conviction, you set in motion the forces that will bring them to you. When you speak of want, worry, or misfortune, you open the door for them to take root. Your words are the messengers of your beliefs. They reveal the state of your inner world and call forth matching experiences from the outer world. If you say, "Money is hard to come by," you send that command into the law of life, and it obeys. If you say, "I live in an endless flow of supply," you issue a decree that sets abundance in motion toward you. The law does not question your words. It simply brings them into form. The wise gardener selects seeds with care, knowing that what is planted today will become tomorrow's harvest. In the same way, you must choose your words as you would choose the seeds for your most precious garden. Do not speak carelessly of poverty, failure, or limitation, even in jest, for every word has creative power. Casual words may take root and grow in silence, only to bear fruit later in the form of unwanted conditions. To speak wealth is to align your language with the infinite supply. Begin your day with words of prosperity. Declare, "I am surrounded by abundance. I am richly supplied. Every need is met with ease." These affirmations are not empty repetitions. They are conscious plantings, watering the soil of your mind and attracting their likeness from the unseen storehouse. Spoken with feeling and faith, they become magnetic to every form of good. Words spoken in gratitude carry an even greater power. Gratitude multiplies the harvest, for it signals that you have already received and are ready for more. When you thank the universe for blessings not yet visible, you plant seeds in the richest soil made fertile by trust and expectation. Each thankful word becomes a beacon, calling to the blessings that are making their way toward you. Guard your speech from the thorns of complaint and the weeds of doubt. These words choke the growth of the good seeds you have planted. If you have spoken carelessly in the past, you can uproot those seeds by replacing them with new, life-giving words. Speak forgiveness over yourself and affirm anew the truth you wish to live. The soil of the mind is ever ready to grow fresh plantings. You need only sow them with care. Every conversation is an opportunity to plant wealth. Speak encouragement to others, for what you plant in another's life will grow in your own. Speak of possibilities, of opportunities, of the beauty and richness of life. Let your words become rivers of blessing that water the fields of those you meet. The more you speak in abundance, the more abundance will seek you out, for like attracts like in the unfailing law of creation. Your words are not forgotten by the universe. They take root in the invisible and grow until the time of harvest. Speak with intention, with awareness, with faith in the unseen process. Know that every time you release a word of prosperity, you have sent out a seed destined to return to you in multiplied form. Gratitude magnetizes supply. Gratitude is the golden key that unlocks the flow of abundance. It is the recognition of the good already present, which in turn calls forth more good. When you give thanks for what you have, you signal to the universe that you are ready to receive more. Gratitude does not wait for the harvest to appear. It blesses the seed while it is still in the ground, knowing that the law of growth is at work. The heart that is rich in gratitude is a magnet for supply. Just as a magnet draws metal without effort, gratitude draws blessings without struggle. It shifts your focus from what is missing to what is present, from lack to plenty, from limitation to possibility. The moment your attention rests upon what is working, what is beautiful, and what is provided, you align yourself with the frequency of more. Gratitude transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. A simple meal becomes a feast when blessed with thankfulness. A modest home becomes a palace when you see it as a shelter of peace and love. Even the smallest coin in your hand becomes a token of wealth when you recognize it as part of the endless flow of provision. The act of gratitude multiplies whatever it touches, for the law of life responds to recognition and appreciation. When you give thanks for your current blessings, you expand your capacity to receive. The mind that complains shrinks its channels. The mind that gives thanks opens them wide. Gratitude is an act of faith, for it acknowledges the source behind the supply. It says, "I trust that more is coming, for I see the goodness already here." It is a bridge between the visible and the invisible, pulling unseen blessings into the realm of form. Gratitude also dissolves fear and worry. You cannot dwell on what is wrong while sincerely giving thanks for what is right. The two states cannot occupy the same space. Gratitude lifts you above the vibration of lack and places you firmly in the current of abundance. From this higher place, solutions, ideas, and opportunities appear naturally, for your vision is no longer clouded by anxiety. It is not only the great blessings that deserve thanks. The small, quiet provisions are the threads that weave the fabric of your abundance. The sunrise that greets you each morning, the water that flows freely from your faucet, the smile from a stranger, these are proofs that the universe is constantly giving. The more you notice and appreciate them, the more evidence you will find that your life is already rich. Gratitude should be spoken as well as felt. Words of thanks carry a creative power that reinforces the vibration of appreciation. When you say aloud, "I am grateful for my health," "I am thankful for the money I have," or "I appreciate the opportunities before me," you are planting seeds that will bear fruit in their own season. These words, spoken consistently and with feeling, create a magnetic field around you that draws matching experiences. Gratitude also works in advance of the blessing. Thanking the universe for something before it appears is a powerful act of faith. When you say, "I give thanks for the new opportunities coming to me," or "I am grateful for the wealth that is flowing into my life," you set the law of attraction into motion. The unseen begins to rearrange itself to match the reality you have claimed in advance. The more you practice gratitude, the more natural it becomes. It moves from being a conscious act to a constant state of being. You wake with thankfulness, move through your day in appreciation, and rest at night in peace. Life responds to such a state with generosity, for the universe delights in pouring more into hands that are already open in thanks. Gratitude is the song that calls forth the abundance waiting to find its way to you. Release all fear of lack. Fear of lack is the shadow that blocks the light of abundance. It is the voice that whispers there will not be enough, that you must grasp and cling, that the flow of good can be interrupted or withdrawn. This fear, left unchallenged, becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, for it closes the channels through which supply moves. The universe is infinite, yet fear teaches the mind to see only limits, to focus on emptiness rather than fullness. To release fear of lack, you must first recognize it for what it is, an illusion without substance. It is the mind projecting scarcity into the future and forgetting that every need in the present moment is met. Fear lives in imagined tomorrows. Abundance lives in the eternal now. When you return your awareness to this moment and see the provision already here, the grip of fear begins to loosen. Fear thrives on comparison and competition. It says that for you to have more, someone else must have less, or that if others prosper, your own share will be diminished. This is the lie of separation. The truth is that the source of supply is infinite and individualized for each person. No one can take what is divinely appointed for you, and you cannot take what belongs to another. The flow is personal, abundant, and unending. Fear also feeds on memory, recalling past seasons of struggle and assuming they will repeat. But the past has no power except the power you give it through remembrance. You are not the same person you were in that moment, and life is not static. Each day is a fresh channel through which good can arrive in ways you have not yet imagined. To dwell on old lack is to plant the same seeds in the soil of today, ensuring a similar harvest. Release comes when you choose trust over tension. Trust is not blind. It is an awareness that there is a greater order at work, guiding and supplying you in perfect timing. Trust knows that even when the outer form changes, the essence of supply remains. The job, the contract, the client, or the possession may pass away, but the source from which they came cannot run dry. One way to dissolve fear of lack is to practice giving, even in small ways. Giving affirms that you live in an abundant universe and that there is always more to come. Fear says, "Hold tightly, for there may not be enough." Giving says, "I release this freely, knowing it will return multiplied." Every act of generosity is a declaration of freedom from the chains of scarcity. Replace fearful thoughts with words of assurance. When fear whispers, "What if there isn't enough?" respond, "I live in an endless flow of supply. My needs are always met." When fear says, "What if I lose what I have?" declare, "What is mine by divine right is secure. Even better will always come to me." Speak these truths aloud until they become the natural language of your mind. Fear cannot survive in the presence of gratitude. When you turn your focus to the blessings already in your life, no matter how small, the vibration of abundance rises and fear falls away. It is impossible to be thankful and afraid at the same time. Gratitude anchors you in the truth that you are cared for, provided for, and supported in every moment. Release fear not once, but each time it tries to return. Let it pass through without attaching to it, as you would let a cloud drift across the sky without chasing it. The more you release, the more you strengthen the habit of trust. The habit of trust draws abundance like a magnet, for the universe responds most generously to the open, fearless heart that knows its supply is forever secure. The universe works in perfect order. There is a divine intelligence governing all things, arranging life with precision, balance, and harmony. The stars move in their appointed paths, the tides rise and fall in perfect rhythm, the seasons follow their eternal cycle without delay or haste. This same perfect order is at work in your life, orchestrating events, opportunities, and connections in ways that may not always be seen, but are always aligned with your highest good. When you trust that the universe works in perfect order, you release the burden of forcing and striving. You no longer demand that everything happen in your timing, for you know that there is a greater timing already at work. Just as a seed cannot be rushed into blooming before its appointed season, so too your desires unfold when the soil is ready, the roots are strong, and the moment is right. Perfect order means that nothing is truly missing. Even when there appears to be delay or silence, movement is taking place beneath the surface. The seed in the earth does not shout to announce its growth, yet the process is sure and steady. So it is with the unseen arrangements of the universe. What is yours is moving toward you, even if your senses do not yet detect it. When you align yourself with this order, you begin to see life through the eyes of trust rather than fear. The apparent obstacles become part of the path, not detours. The pauses become spaces for preparation. The unexpected changes reveal themselves as redirections towards something greater than you had imagined. In perfect order, nothing is wasted and nothing is out of place. This divine harmony governs not only the great movements of the cosmos, but also the smallest details of your life. The right people arrive at the right moment. The needed resources appear exactly when they are required. Conversations happen by what seems like chance, yet they carry the answers you have been seeking. To the human mind, these moments appear as coincidences. To the mind attuned to truth, they are the visible signs of the universe's flawless design. When you resist the order, you create struggle. Impatience, doubt, and fear attempt to pull events out of alignment. as though the branch could force the fruit to ripen before its time. But the fruit that ripens too soon will not be sweet, and the dream that is forced before its preparation will not hold. Trusting the order means you allow things to come together in their strongest, most harmonious form. Living in awareness of perfect order also frees you from regret. You begin to understand that every step, even those that felt like mistakes, has been part of a greater unfolding. The closed door was not punishment, it was protection. The delay was not denial, it was alignment. The loss was not the end, it was the clearing of space for something more fitting to enter. In perfect order, there is no such thing as chance. There is only the precise weaving of threads that form the tapestry of your life. Some threads are visible now, others remain hidden, yet all are part of the same intricate design. Even when the pattern is not clear, the weaver's hand is steady, and the final creation will be more beautiful than you could have arranged alone. When you know the universe works in perfect order, peace replaces striving. You can move forward with calm assurance, taking inspired action when prompted, and resting when called to wait. You no longer chase what is already on its way to you. Instead, you prepare to receive it with openness and gratitude. Perfect order is not only the nature of the universe, it is the rhythm in which your life flows when you choose to trust the harmony that has always been guiding you. Your imagination is the blueprint. All creation begins in the unseen realm of the mind. Every building, invention, masterpiece, and fortune was first an image in someone's imagination. The imagination is the blueprint from which the universe shapes reality. Before the form appears, the pattern is drawn within your inner vision. What you consistently imagine, you invite into being. Your imagination is not a mere daydreaming tool, it is a sacred faculty, a divine instrument through which you co-create with infinite intelligence. When you see yourself in possession of your desires, not as a vague wish, but as a vivid, living picture, you send out a clear instruction to the unseen forces of creation. The more detailed and emotionally charged this image, the more power it holds. Every time you visualize yourself living in abundance, enjoying perfect health, or walking in peace and confidence, you are etching that design deeper into the blueprint of your life. The mind works from images. The body and circumstances respond to these mental pictures as if they were already real. In the realm of consciousness, they are real. Form simply follows the established pattern. To create deliberately, you must choose your images with care. A builder does not sketch a home with crooked walls and expect it to stand strong. Neither should you allow fearful or limiting pictures to remain in your mind, for they will shape your reality in kind. When you catch yourself imagining difficulty, loss, or lack, gently replace the image with one of harmony, ease, and fulfillment. Imagination infused with emotion becomes irresistible to the law of attraction. Feeling is the energy that animates the picture, turning a static sketch into a living creation. See yourself receiving the check, signing the agreement, standing in the home, traveling to the place, and let the joy, gratitude, and excitement fill your entire being. This emotional charge is the signal to the universe that the blueprint is ready to be built. Imagination also allows you to rehearse success until it feels natural. If you have never experienced wealth, visualize yourself handling it with grace, making wise choices, and feeling at home in its presence. If you have never spoken confidently, picture yourself doing so with ease and poise. These mental rehearsals train your subconscious mind to accept the image as normal, so when the outer opportunity comes, you step into it without resistance. The beauty of imagination is that it is unlimited. You can design without restriction, drawing plans far beyond what your current circumstances suggest. The blueprint is not concerned with the materials presently at hand. It is concerned only with the design you have chosen. Once the design is clear, the universe brings the resources, connections, and timing needed to match it. Guard your imagination as you would guard a treasure. Do not feed it images of disaster from gossip, fear-filled conversations, or stories of failure. Instead, nourish it with beauty, inspiration, and visions of what you truly desire. Spend time each day in quiet creation, closing your eyes and painting with the colors of possibility. The more you practice, the more vivid and real your creations become. Your life is always following the pattern you have been holding within. The blueprint of yesterday has created the house you live in today, and the blueprint you draw now will shape the life you walk into tomorrow. When you understand this, you no longer feel powerless before circumstances. You know that you are the architect, the dreamer, the designer. Through the pictures you hold in your mind, you are building the future in this very moment. The outer world will always take form according to the inner design you have chosen and sustained with faith, for imagination is the first, unshakable blueprint of all that comes into being. Giving precedes receiving. The law of life is circulation, and giving is the first motion that sets the cycle into flow. Before the river can receive fresh water, it must release what it already holds. Before the fields can yield their next harvest, they must release their seeds into the soil. So it is with wealth, love, and every form of good. Giving is the opening through which receiving begins. Many hold back, thinking they must first receive before they can give. Yet the universe operates in the opposite rhythm. The seed does not wait for the harvest before it is planted. The lamp does not wait for the dawn before it shines its light. To give is to trust the law, to know that what you send out must return to you in multiplied form. Giving is not loss. It is investment into the infinite bank of the universe, which pays back in ways greater than you can calculate. Every act of generosity is a declaration of abundance, for by giving you affirm, "I have more than enough." This statement, spoken not only in words but in action, sends out a vibration that attracts more of the same into your life. The giving that precedes true receiving is not confined to money alone. It is also the giving of time, of encouragement, of kindness, of knowledge, and of service. A smile to a stranger, a listening ear to a friend, an idea shared freely. These are all seeds sown into the fertile field of life. Each seed carries within it the power to produce a multiplied harvest, though the form of return may not always match the form given. To give from fear or obligation is not the same as giving from joy. The power of giving lies in the spirit in which it is done. A small gift offered with love and gratitude holds more creative power than a large gift given with resentment or hesitation. When your heart is open and your giving is cheerful, you align with the abundant nature of the universe, which gives without measure or condition. There is also wisdom in giving where it can truly bless. Just as a farmer chooses fertile ground for planting, so it is wise to give into places, people, and purposes that are in alignment with your values and vision. When you sow into good soil, the return is rich, for you are supporting growth that harmonizes with your own life's path. Some fear that by giving, they will deplete themselves, but the opposite is true. In holding tightly, you block the inflow. In releasing freely, you keep the channel open. The sea that hoards its waters becomes stagnant, but the river that flows continually is always replenished. Giving keeps your life fresh, vibrant, and in motion, for it assures that the circulation of good never ceases. The timing of the return is not yours to control, but the certainty of the return is absolute. Sometimes it comes quickly, as if the universe rushes to meet your generosity. Other times, it arrives in a different season, multiplied and transformed in ways you could not have foreseen. Trust that every true gift sets the law in motion and that the harvest is inevitable. Begin with what you have. For giving is not measured by size, but by the spirit of the act. Give a portion of your income, even if small, to causes that uplift and inspire. Share your skills with those who can benefit. Offer words of life to someone discouraged. As you practice this, you train your mind to see yourself as a giver, and to the giver, the universe always returns with increase. Giving precedes receiving because it affirms the truth that you are already in the flow of abundance. In giving, you step into the role of co-creator with the infinite supply, sending forth the very energy you wish to receive, and thus ensuring its multiplied return. Riches come in many forms. When the mind hears the word riches, it often pictures gold, jewels, or overflowing bank accounts. Yet true riches are far more expansive than the narrow image of money alone. The universe is generous beyond measure, and its treasures appear in countless forms, many of which cannot be weighed, counted, or stored in a vault. Riches may be the warmth of love in your home, the harmony of peaceful relationships, the health and vitality that allows you to rise each day with energy, or the freedom of time to pursue what brings you joy. They may come as ideas, opportunities, talents, or connections that open doors no amount of money could buy. To recognize and receive these forms is to live in the fullness of true wealth. There are those who have great sums of money, yet live in poverty of spirit, fearful, lonely, or dissatisfied. And there are those who possess little in material terms, yet overflow with joy, creativity, and love. This is not to say that money is unimportant, for it too is a channel of good, but rather that it is only one form among many. If your vision of wealth is limited to one channel, you may overlook the countless other ways the universe is already enriching your life. When you expand your definition of riches, you begin to see them everywhere. A conversation that inspires you is a treasure. A sudden insight that solves a problem is a treasure. A moment of laughter that lifts your spirit is a treasure. These are not small things. They are part of the currency of an abundant life. They fill your days with richness and are often the very steps that lead to the material prosperity you seek. Riches also come as wisdom gained through experience. Even challenges and losses, when met with the right attitude, can yield a harvest of understanding, resilience, and compassion. These inner riches cannot be taken from you, and they will serve you in every venture you undertake. They become the invisible capital upon which future successes are built. There are riches in beauty, in a sunrise, in the sound of the ocean, in the fragrance of flowers, in music that stirs the heart. To pause and receive these gifts is to open yourself to a wealth that no market can control. The more you appreciate beauty, the more sensitive you become to it, and the richer your inner life grows. Riches come in the form of divine ideas, flashes of inspiration that arrive unannounced, yet carry the seed of great change. These ideas may lead to inventions, new careers, or solutions that transform your circumstances. One inspired idea can be worth more than years of labor without vision, for it aligns you with the perfect right action at the perfect time. Relationships are among the greatest forms of riches. The right people entering your life at the right moment can bring joy, support, and opportunities beyond measure. Sometimes the wealth you seek comes through a connection, a recommendation, or a partnership that multiplies your good. Cherish the people who lift and inspire you, for they are part of the universe's treasure given into your keeping. When you open yourself to all these forms of wealth, you release the pressure that money alone must fulfill every need. Money will flow more freely when it is not burdened with being the sole measure of abundance. You will begin to live in a state of wealth here and now, rather than postponing your joy until a certain sum is reached. The more you acknowledge every form of riches, the more you magnetize them. Gratitude for health draws greater vitality. Gratitude for love deepens your connections. Gratitude for opportunities multiplies their appearance. In this way, you become rich in every area of life, and material wealth becomes simply one expression of the boundless good that is always flowing to you. Act as if your desire is already yours. The moment you desire something with clarity, it exists in the invisible realm of creation. The seed of it has been planted in the fertile soil of the universe, and the law of life has already begun to bring it forth. To act as if your desire is already yours is to live in alignment with that truth, to walk in the vibration of fulfillment rather than longing. Acting as if does not mean forcing appearances or pretending in a shallow way. It is an inner shift, a change in how you think, feel, and carry yourself. It is stepping into the identity of the one who already has what you desire and allowing your outer life to reflect that inner knowing. When you act as if, you remove the energy of desperation. You are no longer waiting for your good to arrive, you are living from it. You speak with the confidence of someone whose blessing is certain. You make decisions as though the resources you need are already in your possession. You carry yourself with the poise of one who belongs in the life they envision. This way of living draws your good to you more quickly, for you are in harmony with it now. You are not sending out signals of lack or postponement. You are broadcasting readiness. The universe responds to the state you dwell in. When your inner state says, "It is done," life begins to arrange circumstances, people, and events to match that state. Acting as if also strengthens your faith. When you behave in alignment with your desire, you affirm to your subconscious mind that it is real. The mind cannot distinguish between an actual event and one vividly imagined and acted upon with feeling. By consistently living as though your desire has already come to pass, you train your mind to accept it as normal, inevitable, and certain. This practice can begin in small ways. If you desire wealth, begin organizing your finances as one who is financially secure would. If you desire a healthy, vibrant body, begin moving, eating, and resting in ways that a healthy person naturally would. If you desire loving relationships, begin speaking and acting as one who is already deeply loved and loving in return. The smallest shifts in behavior send a signal that you are already inhabiting the life you desire. Acting as if is not about extravagance or recklessness. It is about alignment. It is about making choices consistent with the reality you are creating. A wealthy person may not spend carelessly, but they think and move from a place of sufficiency. A healthy person does not overwork their body, but they honor it as a gift. A loved person does not grasp or cling, but gives freely from the abundance of their heart. This way of living also dissolves waiting. You stop postponing your happiness until someday and begin to embody the feelings you thought would come later. Joy, gratitude, and peace become present moment realities, and as you live in these states now, you magnetize more of what matches them. In acting as if, you become a vibrational match for your desire. You make space for it in your schedule, in your environment, and in your heart. You show the universe that you are prepared for the blessing you have asked for. You stop rehearsing life as it is and begin rehearsing life as you intend it to be. By walking in the certainty that your desire is already yours, you remove the last barriers of doubt and resistance. You move from hoping to knowing, from longing to living, and your outer world naturally begins to reflect the reality you have already accepted within. Release the how and when. Once you have set your desire clearly and infused it with faith, your work is to release the details of how and when it will come. The moment you try to control the process or dictate the timing, you tighten the flow of the very thing you wish to receive. The universe works in ways far beyond human reasoning, and its methods are often invisible until the result appears. When you insist on a specific path or deadline, you place a limit on the infinite. You may be unknowingly closing the door to greater, faster, or more harmonious avenues than the ones your mind has imagined. By releasing the how and when, you allow life to bring your good through the most perfect and effortless channel. Trust is the bridge between desire and manifestation. To trust means to rest in the knowing that your desire is already on its way, even if no evidence yet appears in the physical. You do not dig up a seed to check on its growth. You water it, give it light, and trust the unseen process until it blooms. In the same way, you must allow your desires to unfold without constant interference from doubt and control. Releasing the how and when is not about passivity. It is about cooperation with the higher order of life. Your role is to keep your vision clear, your faith strong, and your vibration aligned with your desire. The rest is the work of the unseen forces. aligning circumstances, moving people, and orchestrating events in ways your conscious mind cannot predict. Often, when we cling to the how, we attach ourselves to a single route of delivery. We say, it must come through this job, or this person must be the one, or it must happen by this date. But the universe may have a much better plan, one that brings not only what you asked for, but additional blessings you could not have imagined. By loosening your grip, you give space for miracles to enter. The timing of manifestation is always precise. It may not match your personal calendar, but it is never late. There are seasons for every creation, and the timing often involves factors you cannot yet see: the preparation of other people, the alignment of opportunities, or even the development of your own readiness to receive. Sometimes the delay you perceive is actually a protection. What you are asking for may require a stronger foundation before it arrives, so that when it comes, it stays. In hindsight, many see that what felt like a long wait was in fact the perfect preparation for something greater than the original request. When you release the how and when, you move into a state of ease. You stop straining, questioning, and pushing, and you begin to live in the flow of trust. Your energy is no longer scattered by worry, but focused on gratitude for the unfolding. This state of ease is magnetic. It draws your good more quickly because you are not resisting it with doubt or fear. The mind may try to step in and demand proof or control, but you can quiet it by returning to the feeling of already having what you desire. The more you live in that feeling, the less you are concerned with how or when it will arrive. You understand that both are in the hands of the infinite, and that the infinite is unfailing in its precision. To release the how and when is to surrender the mechanics of creation to the greater wisdom that governs all life. It is to trust that the same intelligence that spins the planets and brings the tides will also bring your desire to you in the most perfect form, at the most perfect time, through the most perfect way. Affirmations align you with the infinite. Your words carry creative power. Every statement you repeat with conviction impresses itself upon your subconscious mind, and the subconscious then works to bring it into form. Affirmations are the conscious choice to direct this creative power toward harmony, abundance, and fulfillment. They are more than simple phrases. They are keys that unlock the storehouse of the infinite. When you speak affirmations, you are not trying to convince the universe of something. You are training your own mind to accept it as truth. The universe is already rich with every good thing you could desire. The work is to align yourself with that abundance, to attune your thoughts and feelings to the same frequency as your desire. Affirmations are the tuning fork that brings you into harmony with the song of the infinite. The most powerful affirmations are those stated in the present tense, as if the thing you desire is already yours. I am prosperous. I am divinely guided. I am surrounded by abundance. This language bypasses the sense of waiting and begins to program your consciousness to live from the reality you seek. The subconscious mind accepts these words as commands and sets in motion all the unseen forces that bring them to pass. Repetition is essential. Just as water shapes stone over time, repeated affirmations carve new pathways in your mind. Old patterns of doubt, fear, or lack dissolve as you consistently replace them with words of truth and plenty. The more you affirm, the more your inner state changes, and your outer world always follows the pattern of your inner state. It is not enough to speak affirmations mechanically. They must be charged with feeling. When you say, I am abundant, feel the joy, freedom, and gratitude of abundance as if it were already a living reality. The emotional energy you attach to your words multiplies their power. Words without feeling are like seeds without water. They cannot grow into their full potential. Affirmations can be woven into the fabric of your day. Speak them in the morning to set the tone for the hours ahead. Repeat them when doubt tries to creep in, as a shield against fear. Whisper them before sleep, so they sink deeply into your subconscious during the receptive state of rest. The more they become part of your inner conversation, the more naturally they shape your beliefs. Through affirmations, you claim your place in the divine order of abundance. You no longer speak from the position of one who hopes to be blessed someday. You speak as one who knows that the blessings are already here and are continually unfolding. This shift from asking to claiming is a powerful alignment with the infinite, for you are affirming that you are already in possession of what you seek in the unseen realm. When challenges arise, affirmations become anchors. Instead of repeating the problem, you declare the truth you choose to experience. If finances feel tight, you affirm, "My supply is endless and flows to me now." If uncertainty surrounds you, you affirm, "I am guided with perfect clarity." These words act as light in the midst of darkness, keeping you aligned with the higher truth until it manifests outwardly. Affirmations also refine your awareness. As you declare abundance, you begin to notice opportunities and resources that were always there but previously unseen. As you affirm guidance, you become more sensitive to inner nudges and synchronicities. The words you speak awaken you to the evidence of your good, which in turn strengthens your faith and accelerates manifestation. By practicing affirmations, you become a conscious co-creator with the infinite. You speak words of power, you feel them as reality, and you allow them to take root in the fertile soil of your mind. In doing so, you align your entire being with the endless supply, the perfect order, and the boundless good that is ever seeking to flow into your life. Rest in the assurance of supply. When you truly understand that the universe is an inexhaustible storehouse of good, you can rest in a deep sense of peace. There is no need to strive anxiously or chase desperately after your desires, for your supply is already established in the infinite. What is yours cannot be withheld, and what is not yet visible is simply making its way to you through the perfect channels. Resting in assurance is not idleness, it is active faith. It is the quiet confidence that your needs are met before you even speak them, and that the divine law of supply operates without failure. Just as you trust the sun will rise each morning without your effort, you can trust that your good is unfolding in the right way and at the right time. This assurance frees you from the exhausting patterns of fear and worry. Fear says, "What if there isn't enough?" Assurance says, "My supply is infinite." Worry says, "What if it doesn't come?" Assurance says, "It is already on its way." These inner declarations shape your vibration, and your vibration determines what you magnetize into your life. When you rest in assurance, you no longer grasp or cling to what you have out of fear of losing it. You know that the same source that provided once will provide again and again without limit. This allows you to give freely, share generously, and make decisions from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. Supply is not a one-time event, it is a continuous flow, and you are always connected to it. Assurance also allows you to stop overworking or forcing results. The world teaches that success comes from relentless striving, yet spiritual law teaches that manifestation comes from alignment. When you are aligned with the truth of infinite supply, your actions are inspired, your choices are clear, and your results come with ease. There is no strain in divine order. Imagine a tree in a fertile field. It does not worry about whether the sun will shine or the rain will fall. It simply stands, rooted in the earth, drawing from the abundance that surrounds it. You too are rooted in the infinite, drawing from a limitless source. The assurance of supply is your root system, holding you steady even when outer conditions seem uncertain. Resting in assurance requires trust in timing. There may be seasons where the evidence of your supply is not yet visible, just as seeds remain hidden beneath the soil before sprouting. In such moments, your role is to keep your thoughts steady, your heart open, and your gratitude alive. The unseen work is still happening, and the harvest will come. Gratitude plays a powerful role in this state of assurance. By giving thanks for what you already have, you affirm that you are connected to a generous universe. Gratitude multiplies blessings, not because it changes the supply itself, but because it changes your awareness, allowing you to see and receive more of what is already present. When you live in the assurance of supply, you release the panic of deadlines and the fear of loss. You move through life with a quiet dignity, knowing that the same intelligence that governs the stars governs your provision. You no longer feel the need to compete, compare, or rush, for you know that what is yours will find its way to you without struggle. This state of rest is magnetic. Opportunities find you, solutions reveal themselves, and doors open effortlessly. You are no longer chasing after abundance. You are dwelling in it. From this place, your outer circumstances begin to mirror the inner peace you carry, and your life becomes a living testament to the truth that supply is not earned by fear or force, but received through the calm certainty of faith. You are surrounded by an ocean of infinite supply. Every desire you hold in faith, every word you speak in alignment, and every act you take in trust sends a signal to the universe that you are ready to receive. Abundance is not a distant dream. It is your natural state waiting to be claimed. When you release fear, when you speak life-giving words, when you give freely and act as if your desire is already yours, you step into the current of divine provision. You no longer chase after what is yours. You magnetize it through faith, gratitude, and alignment. Know that the universe works in perfect order, that timing is precise, and that you are always guided toward the best and highest outcome. Rest in the assurance that what belongs to you cannot be taken, delayed, or denied. The same infinite intelligence that governs the stars governs your life, and it delights in prospering you. Your wealth, your opportunities, your blessings, they are already here in the unseen, ready to flow into form. Open your heart, steady your mind, and stand in the certainty that you are one with the limitless source. As you live in this truth, abundance will not just visit your life, it will become the atmosphere in which you dwell.